Of course, the Delhi hit and drag case going through more twists. We'll get to that in just a bit, but right at the top of this edition, we are getting news from Pak-occupied Jammu and Kashmir. There is trouble brewing in Gilgit-Baltistan, ladies and gentlemen, in multiple areas of Gilgit-Baltistan. This is the information that our investigations editor Manoj Gupta is getting us, that there is anger that's gripped on the streets with people openly calling out the atrocities being committed by the Pak army in Pak-occupied Jammu Kashmir. In this region of Gilgit-Baltistan, there is agitation against the army for the 9th consecutive day. These are pictures that are coming through, details coming in. Protests are going on in Skardu, in Gilgit, in Hunza, and also in Geyser. Anger over land grab, illegal taxes, and also subsidy suspension. Pakistan army is actually seizing ancestral properties of the locals and forcibly taking control of that area. There is demand for lower power prices and also political empowerment. Now, these have been demands, and there have been huge amounts of civic unrest over the last year and a half, especially with lots of civic unrest against the Pak army atrocities, as the Pak army has tried to increase its military activity post the abrogation of Article 370 in Jammu and Kashmir. They have tried to increase because they are fearful that India would openly come out and not just take claim, but also reclaim what's been taken over, or what Pakistani army has been squatting on for decades. So there has been increased military activity, but the locals are upset. There is demand for lower prices and political empowerment. Protesters are demanding opening of the Skardu-Kargil road. So these are all demands which are coming through. There are visuals on ground. We'll try and go across to POK political activist Amjad Ayub Mirza in just a bit. I'm just going to check if he's through with us. Well, Amjad Ayub Mirza is with us. Amjad Ayub Mirza, ji, happy 2023, but not a very happy 2023 for the people of Gilgit-Baltistan. We're given to understand that at least 4 or 5 districts, there are continued protests for about 9 days now.
Yes, actually, your voice is very soft. I can't hear you properly. What I gather is you wished me and the people of Gilgit-Baltistan a happy new year. And likewise, I wish all of you and your team a very happy new year. For the 10 days now, there are protests going on in Gilgit-Baltistan. And these protests are a manifestation of what was brewing for years. I mean, for 75 years, the people of Gilgit-Baltistan have been deprived of the basic human rights, political rights, and they have been treated like like subjugates, like subjects of an occupation army. And now the last straw that broke the back of the camel was that when the Pakistan military started land grab in the name of building DHA housing societies and golf courses and this and that, and they started evicting people from their own ancestral lands without offering them any compensation. I think that was it. People said enough is enough. And now, in Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir and Pakistani occupied Gilgit-Baltistan, they cannot openly say that cholo cholo Bharat ke saath cholo. So they disguise their slogans like Kargil, Skardu Kargil Road Kholo, open the Skardu Kargil Road. And similarly, during this month, there will be protests. Also, there are protests starting now in POJK. They are demanding opening of the trade routes between Jammu Kashmir and POJK. So people are now, they have turned their back towards Pakistan. They don't believe in Pakistan. Kalme ka rishta toot gaya hai. Koi kalme ka rishta nahi hai. We are back to square one where we were in 1971. People do not want to do nothing with Pakistan now. Yes.
But what is the reaction? Has there been some hard action from the Pakistani army? The locals are also upset with the high power prices, but this was not a case in the past. The other thing is, ye to thand hai, there is acute cold, and there is a cold wave that's also gripped that entire region. So how are people managing? Is there any response from the Pakistani army? What about the local government there, which is again a puppet of the Pak establishment?
Well, there are two questions here. One is about the role of the army and how they might tackle this situation in Gilgit-Baltistan, and the other is the puppet government in Gilgit-Baltistan. Let's tackle the puppet government in Gilgit-Baltistan first. Now, the puppet government of Gilgit-Baltistan is panicked. and their ministers are saying we are going to go and join the dharnas. It's sub-zero temperatures. People are sitting under the open sky, snow everywhere, but people are resilient. They are protesting continuously day and night in every major city in Gilgit-Baltistan. So now the government administration is saying that we are going to form a commission, we are going to form a committee. You send your representatives. We can discuss these things through. We can solve these things through. But that threshold has already, is already passed. People do not believe. They have been deceived in the past. Pakistan Army, I tell you, Pakistan Army has no chance in Gilgit-Baltistan or POJK. I tell you the reason. Number one reason is that Pakistan Army has no money. They have stopped treating retired military officers' families in the CMH combined military hospitals because of lack of funds to buy medicine. Number
Right.
two, they have had a core committee meeting 2 weeks ago in which they decided that they are going
Right.
to cut all the perks of the army officers. जिसको 2 प्लाट मिलते थे उसको अब 1 मिलेगा, जिसको 3 मिलते थे उसको 1.5 मिलेगा, ये सारी perks. Plus, they have asked the army officers to be responsible for paying their own electricity bills. So the
Right.
attraction of army, where you could go with a mindset that you will become a rich person when you retire, like Bajwa Sahab 12 billion leke bhage, that incentive is gone. So what is the result? Over the past 2.5 months, 5,000, more than 5,000 Pakistani army officers out of a total of roughly 35,000 army officers have submitted
Right.
their resignations at the GHQ in Rawalpindi. They do not want to serve in the army anymore.
Right.
I can confirm that there are army officers who are selling their uniforms for 10,000, 15,000, 13,000, depending on what kind of uniform it is. They are selling it to make ends meet. Yes, army officers are driving taxis in Islamabad. Army officers, because they cannot make their ends meet. Acha. On top of
Right.
that, on top of that, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan has announced a parallel government, and they are now forming a militant Jangju war alliance with the Baloch insurgency. How is Pakistan Army going to tackle that? So
Right.
Pakistan Army has no role to play in Gilgit-Baltistan or in POJK. Pakistan Army is stuck in its own graveyard now. So this is the best time. People have seen that. That is why people are rebellious, and people. This rebellion is not going to.
Right, but we've
It's not
also
going to
seen
be
that
over soon.
this is not just these 9 days, Dr. Amjad Ayub Mirza. Over the last course of the last 2-3 years, there has been huge amount of unrest, and this has peaked in Gilgit-Baltistan and in this entire region ever since the abrogation of 370. There were videos that emerged where Pak officials were forcibly taking over homes, and the locals were saying कि Modi साहब आप मदद करो. There has been increasing calls of better connectivity with the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir and also with the Union Territory of Ladakh. These demands have now only peaked, and there have been other protests too.
Absolutely. I mean, you have been reporting this for more than 3 years now. And remember, before the local bodies elections in POJK a couple of months ago, there was a massive movement spread over many months against fuel charges, the additional fuel charges, against cuts and subsidies of the wheat,
Ji.
against load shedding, against the broken infrastructure of POJK. You know what is happening now? Now the youth is, if you go to the social medias and on Facebooks, the
Right.
Pakistani occupied Jammu Kashmir youths, what they are debating, they are saying, मोदी साहब का बयान नहीं आया, अमित शाह
Ji.
साहब का बयान नहीं आया, गिलगित बल्तिस्तान के ऊपर किसी का बयान नहीं आ रहा. यानी कि they are looking towards India and expecting from India that this is the time when the Indian
Right.
government, at least at some level, is going to issue a statement regarding people who are by default Indian citizens and have stood up now and are facing and fighting against this
Right.
occupation.
Right. Amjad Mirza ji, thank you very much for joining us. And this is the big development there. There is huge trouble that's brewing and there is huge, massive civic unrest. 9th consecutive day there are protests in about 5 to 6 regions of Gilgit-Baltistan that includes Hunza and Skardu. Closer to Delhi, ladies and gentlemen, the Delhi hit and drag case, that's where we shift the focus on to, where once again, the friend of the victim, Nidhi, has been taken by the Delhi police to reconstruct the crime scene. She's also been questioned and the veracity of her claims are now being established, even as the family has come here on CNN News 18 from both sides. Anjali's family, Nidhi's family, both trying to defend their children and their wards, but also making allegations and also questioning as to could more have been done to save Anjali's life. Meanwhile, there is a huge development as far as the brutes are concerned. It's not 5 but 7 of them. They conspired to try and not just erase evidence but also to try and hide this entire matter. It is impossible to believe that those who are inside that grey Baleno did not know that they were dragging a human being for more than 12 kilometers. And somewhere as the evidence is surfacing, one gets to understand that those inside the car knew exactly what had happened because they had shared the panic and the fact that they need to cover this up with the other 2 accused who have now surfaced, Ashutosh and of course Ankush. Now we are given to understand that the 6th accused Ashutosh, the 7th accused Ankush has also now been traced and taken into Delhi police custody. Earlier in the day, the 6th accused Ashutosh had been nabbed. Now the 7th accused Ankush, who was available till about 3 days ago on the phone and had been absconding from that very day, that is the 1st of January wee hours, has now been nabbed by the Delhi police. The police say that these 2 allegedly tampered with crucial evidence to try and protect the original 5 accused. CNN News 18 has also exclusively accessed fresh CCTV footage where Anjali and Nidhi are seen getting off a scooty which is being driven by a mystery man at around 7 p.m. that day on the 31st of December. And this is on CCTV, and this man is then seen with them. He is reportedly Anjali's friend. The mystery remains as to who is this person, where were these girls coming from, and which house and where were they entering, because later on they are seen stepping out and then they are going towards this hotel at around 8:30 p.m. and where the registration is done for the room or the booking is done in Nidhi's name. Now Anjali's family also claims that the scooty does not belong to her. The mangled scooty that's been found does not belong to her. So many twists. Let's listen into to both the families who were here earlier in the day on CNN News 18.
परिवार की इस समय दिल्ली पुलिस से क्या मांग है? जो अभी तक तहकीकात हुई है, आप उससे संतुष्ट हैं?
जी, दिल्ली पुलिस अपने काम में लगी हुई है। जब दिल्ली पुलिस लगी हुई है, दिल्ली पुलिस ने आश्वासन दिया है, जिस केस के मुद्दे पे हमने FIR दर्ज करवाई थी, मैंने अपनी बहन को ले जाकर, तो दिल्ली पुलिस ने यही बोला था कि अगर लड़की के साथ कोई उत्पीड़न, गलत दुष्कर्म ना हुआ हो तो इनको 302 पक्की दी जाएगी उनके एविडेंस पे। पर ऐसा कुछ नहीं था, तो 302 तो दिल्ली पुलिस को देनी चाहिए। इन्वेस्टिगेशन में तो वो लगी हुई है। बट मैं एक बात और कहना चाहता हूँ, कोई कितना भी क्लोज फ्रेंड हो, चाहे 1 दिन का हो चाहे 2 दिन का हो, पर ऐसे मरते हुए कोई नहीं छोड़ के जा सकता जी। अपनी फ्रेंड को जी। वो यूँ कह रही थी कि मतलब कि मेरे को डर लग रहा था, आज तू निकल के आ रही है तो ये डर मतलब हिम्मत कोई दे रहा है जी। तुमने बेदखल कर रखा था तो तुम इसके घर पे क्यों आए? और दूसरी बात, वो लड़की अगर दिखाई दे रही है, घर पे गली में आती हुई दिखाई दे रही है, अपने दरवाजे में लात मारती हुई दिखाई दे रही है, तो उसकी मम्मी ने वो दरवाज़ा भी नहीं खोला, वो लड़की वहाँ से लात मार के चले जाती है। उसकी मम्मी कह रही कि मेरे को बताया था कि मम्मी एक्सीडेंट हो गया है, मेरे को डर लग रहा है कहीं पुलिस ना मारे, भीड़ भाड़ की वजह से वो डर गई थी। रात के समय में 2-2:30 बजे के बीच में कहाँ पे एक्सीडेंट हुआ, ना तो उसकी कोई फुटेज है। बेशक कितनी भी फुटेज निकल रही हो, वहाँ की फुटेज नहीं है जहाँ पे हुआ है।
As a subject matter expert, you've come forward supporting the family. How do you see the investigation? Are there any further charges that should be added in that FIR that has been put?
I was very shocked that why till now 302 is not imposed.
निधि क्या आपके साथ रहती थी?
नहीं देने रहती थी, अपने घर रहती थी वो निधि।
पर ऐसा क्या हुआ कि वो आपके साथ नहीं रहती थी?
बस ऐसे हम तो मिलते जुलते थे, मैं तो ऐसे तो कोई बात नहीं है, वैसे बस उससे बस उसका एक वो बस इतना ही बताया था, मम्मी उसके चोट लग गई, उसके वो हो गया,
ये
वो घबरा
निधि
गई देख
वापस
के।
आई, कितने बजे उसने आपको बताया?
1:30 बजे वो वापस आई थी, उसने 1:30 बजे मेरे को बताया कि मम्मी ऐसे ऐसे काम हो गया, वो भाग ली वहां से। इस मारे उसके लगे, वो उसके घबरा गई वो ऐसा सीन देख के।
यहाँ तो हम एक दोस्त के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, क्या आपके परिवार में या किसी ने अंजलि का नाम पहले सुना था? क्या आप अंजलि को जानते थे? तो आपने अंजलि का नाम कभी नहीं सुना था निधि से?
नहीं, मैंने भी नहीं सुना
निधि
था।
कभी काल मिलती थी आकर के।
अगर उस रात को भी नहीं बताना था, उसके बाद भी 1 दिन 2 दिन 3 दिन बाहर निकल के पुलिस को बताना तो चाहिए था।
इतना घबरा रही थी,
क्या
वो
सच
ले गई
माना
खींच
जाए?
के, इतनी चिल्लाई
क्या
छोड़
हुआ,
दो
क्या ना
छोड़
हुआ?
दो छोड़ दो, नहीं छोड़ी उनने।
आप एक कहते हैं कि आप उनकी इतनी अच्छी दोस्त थी, आप साथ में गए थे, आप साथ वापस आना चाहते थे, तो आपने मदद क्यों नहीं करी?
नहीं, कुछ नहीं छुपा रही, वो तो ऐसे ही बस उसको कुछ नहीं पता, वो तो इतनी घबरा रही थी, इतनी घबरा रही थी, डर रही थी वो।
नहीं, पर सुदेश जी, अंजलि का जो परिवार है वो कह रहा है कि निधि ही थी जो उनको होटल लेके गई, जो लड़के बुलाए गए थे वो भी निधि के दोस्त थे। क्या आप जानती
नहीं
थी?
भाई, मैं नहीं जानती थी बेटा, मैं कुछ नहीं जानती, मैं तो अनपढ़ गवार हूँ, मेरे को तो फोन भी नहीं आता।
क्या निधि आपको पता था कि दारू पीती थी या ऐसा कुछ था?
नहीं, मेरे को तो मैंने तो कोई पता नहीं लगा, मेरे को तो मैं तो देख सुबह लिखती हूँ मैडम, रात को बढ़ती थी, शाम शाम को कभी 5 भी।
घर पर
हाँ
ये भी घर पर नहीं जाती है।
हाँ, घरों में काम करती हूँ मैं तो।
Anshul is now joining us live from right outside the Sultanpuri police station. Anshul, the 7th accused, has he been brought to that police station?
So yes, the 7th accused Ankush has also been taken into custody by the Delhi police. The procedure of arresting him is currently ongoing inside the Sultanpuri police station. Now remember, the biggest accusation against Ankush was that he was the mastermind who made sure that the kind of statements that are given to the police gets misled, because remember, initially the FIR that was filed by the Delhi police was filed on the statements of all these 5 accused, and hence the Delhi police had put forth the sections of section 279 and 304A, which were bail-able offences. And it is only after rigorous investigation by the Delhi police, more sections were added to that FIR. And Ankush was that mastermind who made sure that initially the driver of the car who was driving that car, he was taken to some other, his seat was changed so that because he was not in possession of a valid driving license. So yes, he was one of the more prime accused who actually was the mastermind behind misleading the police, and now he has been taken into custody of the Delhi police.
So who is Ankush related to? Is he related to Amit, the driver, the actual driver who didn't have a valid license, or is he related to Deepak, who actually said, I will claim that I was driving the car because I have a license?
So Ankush is Amit's elder brother, is what we are being told, and after the accident we saw that CCTV footage as well. After the accident, when they reach at that spot, Ankush comes out and actually tells them to misguide the police in a way and make sure that Amit is shifted from that seat to the other seat, because he was not in possession of the driving license. And also both Ankush and Ashutosh knew that the entire the kind of incident that has happened, they knew that a woman has been dragged for many kilometers under the car, and even after that he was the person who came out and tried to make sure that they mislead the police, and that is the reason why the initial FIR was so very weak that was filed by the Delhi police. Now, since all the 7 accused are in custody of the Delhi police, what we have been told that the police custody of both Ashutosh and Ankush would be sought from the Rohini court, and they all will be interrogated.
Now, first on CNN News 18, we have the visuals of the
that,
7th accused. Anshul, even as you speak with us, just from a short while ago, being brought into the police station, the 7th accused being taken into custody. Ankush Khanna is the person who was named by Sagar Preet Hooda, the special CP, as the 7th accused. He has also now been nabbed. So now all the 7 accused are under police custody. The 5 main accused and the 2 abettors, Ashutosh and Ankush, who are now in police custody.
So yes, all the seven people have now been taken into the custody by the Delhi police, and what we are also being told that now from tomorrow the interrogation of all these.
Where
people
did they
will
catch
start,
Ankush from? Because one of the neighbors of Ankush, Anshul, one of the neighbors of Ankush said that around 4:30, 4:45 in the wee hours, she did hear Ankush leave with his nickname is Kalu or something, and she saw him leave with one of his own cousin brothers. And so where did the cops catch Ankush from? Because his phone was operating and was under operation till 3 days ago. Where did they catch him from?
So yes, he has been nabbed from the Rohini district itself. He was in this district. He was trying to escape from the police. He was trying to make sure that the police does not get his location. But yes, there was too much pressure, and he was the police obviously tried to get in contact with him on several occasions. However, the locations of his friend's phone was then tracked, and once that location was tracked, then the police was able to get hold of Ankush, and now he has been nabbed and brought to the police station, and the process of arresting him is still underway.
Right. Has Ashutosh been confronted? Has Ashutosh revealed anything? Because he's seen in that CCTV footage waiting for the car to come.
So yes, the police custody of Ashutosh is still being seeked. What we are being told that in the next few minutes, the duty magistrate of the Rohini court, he will be presented in front of them, and the police custody would be seeked from them. And once they get the police custody, then the interrogation would start. But however, initially the DCP of this area has spoken to Ashutosh this morning, and he has taken his initial statements. But yes, the nitty-gritties of the statement are still not out. We are still awaiting for an actual conversation as to what has Ashutosh told the police. But yes, as of now, the process of taking him into police custody from the court is still on. We are expecting that in the next few minutes, the news would come out as to for how many days has the police seeked the police custody, and for how many days has the police gotten that police custody of Ashutosh.
Anshul, I'm just going to cross-check again. Is the 7th accused, Ankush, is he also going to be produced in court today?
Most likely not today. He will be produced in the court tomorrow, because the police has a time of 24 hours. In the next 24 hours, the police would initially take the statements of Ankush, and they would actually try to find out as to what happened on that night, and why did he flee from the police, and why did he not come up to the police over the last 6 to 7 days. So initially those statements would be recorded of him by the police themselves, and after that tomorrow morning or by tomorrow afternoon, we are expecting that he would be presented in front of the court, and the police is going to seek further custody of his.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your inputs, Anshul. So the 7th accused also in police custody now. The cops have given the assurance that they will prepare a very, very strong charge sheet. They have also confirmed that all 7 of them conspired. 2 of them abetted the 5 main accused. They tried to destroy evidence, and they were aware of what they have done. Should these brutes not be charged with murder if the 5 accused in the car knew exactly that what they were doing, and that they were dragging a human being, a 23-year-old Anjali, under the chassis of their car? That's the big question. We'll take a very short break. Stay with us.
The Delhi Civic Centre. This, of course, is ahead of the elections of the mayor after the MCD elections happened last month here in the national capital. There is ruckus in the Delhi Municipal Corporation House. Just look at the visuals that we're getting to you. We'll try and establish a connection with my colleague Ruckus also to try and understand what really is happening. But as I said, scenes of pandemonium. It's the BJP versus the Aam Aadmi Party. We already know that the Congress has taken a stand of not participating as far as the mayor election is concerned. But I can see marshals that have been brought in. Some short while ago, I did see certain people being dragged as well. There is massive sloganeering that has taken place as well ahead of the Delhi mayor election. Some reactions coming in now. We'll try and go to that reaction. I believe we were getting a reaction from Manoj Tiwari of the BJP. But as I said, the fight between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP only intensifying as there is hangama inside the civic centre.
दिल्ली के वोटर हैं मेयर के चुनाव में, और हम अपना मतदान का अधिकार प्रयोग करने आए हैं. हम सभी, हंसराज हंस जी, प्रवेश जी, गौतम जी, रमेश जी, ऊपर हर्षवर्धन जी भी हैं, मीनाक्षी जी भी हैं, और हम सब अपने मतदान का प्रयोग करके एक लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था को बनाए रखने में मदद करेंगे.
Let me now bring in my colleague Rupashi Nanda, also in fact has been tracking all these developments for us. Rupashi, talk to us about the scenes of pandemonium and the ruckus that we're seeing in the Delhi Civic Centre. What's happening?
The same scenes are continuing as of now. Satya Sharma, who was administering oath to the nominated member of the Delhi MCD, she is not there in the floor of the house now. All the Aam Aadmi Party are up in arms, and they have actually gathered around Mukesh Goel, the leader of the house, and they are chanting slogans against the BJP, against the Lieutenant Governor, and against the Prime Minister. The BJP also is, members are also up on their feet. If the visuals are clear, if you can see the visuals, some of the members, in fact, women members are actually standing on the tables on their side, and they're trying to, reply to the Aam Aadmi Party, but more or less the BJP members are still quite calm, and they're not joining in full force against the sloganeering. Perhaps they're waiting for the acting speaker to come and take a decision. Remember, the BJP's MPs are also here on the floor of the house because they also have voting rights over here. And Aam Aadmi Party's 13 MLAs are also here on the floor of the house, apart from newly elected councillors. I have not been able to see Aam Aadmi Party's MPs in the floor of the house yet. But essentially, the house has been adjourned and everybody is waiting for Satya Sharma to take a decision. It remains to be seen whether the proceedings can continue if the ruckus continues in this manner.
Right, Rupashi, I'll just request you stay on with us. Let's just dip in and listen into what's happening.
हंगामा सदन के भीतर जारी है.
So as we said, ruckus still continues. My colleague Rupashi continues to be with us. Rupashi, let's really understand what's happening. You on one side. Okay, Rupashi, I'll just request you to stay on with us. I just want to take in a quick reaction from the BJP. RP Singh also now joining us on the broadcast. So good to have you on the broadcast with us. The Aam Aadmi Party is accusing the LG of skewing civil body ahead of the mayor election. How do you see the comments that are coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party and the ruckus that is following as well?
Well, they have a clear majority of 134 people. Then why are they scared of? Is it that they're not sure about their own members? That's why they're creating the circus before the election. I mean, even now the oath taking has not happened. Let the oath taking happen and then you do whatever you do. But they are trying to create the circus for intention because they are not very sure about their own members. And then they know that probably some of them will slip. And then they are not happy with the overall procedure which has been adopted for the mayor position and the deputy mayor position and the standing committee position. That's why all the circus is there. Otherwise, a party which claims to have a clear majority of 134 members, why shall they create a ruckus?
I want to understand, as far as the confidence of the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, we've heard from Atishi and others that at the end of the day, there is going to be a mayor from the Aam Aadmi Party and a deputy mayor as well. For the BJP, is the BJP banking on cross-voting?
No, we are not pitching for any cross-voting at all. It's up to if people are not happy and satisfied with their own party decision or the party leaders. It's up to them to do whatever they want to do. I mean, they want to cross-vote, they want to duck the voting. I mean, it's up to them. But fact is that this whole ruckus is because the Aam Aadmi Party is not confident about their own members. Otherwise, I mean, tell me one simple reason with 134 members, why shall they create the circus and they're nitpicking issues with LG without any reason? I mean, and they are not going by the rules and regulations of the MCD. There's a framework of the new MCD which has been laid by the Parliament, and then LG will abide by, or the officers of the MCD will only abide by the new rule and regulation of the laid by the Parliament.
Right. But I'm also looking at some of the comments that have been made by the Aam Aadmi Party. We do know that you had the Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal, who in fact had written to the LG, and he had said that this entire nomination is over the unconstitutional manner in which the aldermen were nominated to the MCD. He is saying this is a complete departure from what the usual practices and protocols are.
These aldermen are not voters of this house mayor election. They are people appointed by the LG, and as per the new regulation, let them go refer to the new regulation of the passed by the Parliament. They have
Back on the Nation at 5 with details of the charge sheet filed by the NIA in the Patna Ghazwa-e-Hind case, where the charge sheet says that investigations have revealed that the accused, Maghroob Ahmad Danish alias Tahir, was an admin of this WhatsApp group called Ghazwa-e-Hind. This was actually created by a Pakistani national named Zain. And in this group, many people from India and other countries, including Pakistan and Yemen, had been added with an intention to radicalize them and constitute them into sleeper cells for carrying out terrorist activities. Arunima joins us live with more details. Yes, Arunima. We'll try and go across to Arunima in just a bit. But we have got further details in this charge sheet, which also says that this guy, this accused, Danish, had created this Ghazwa-e-Hind group on different social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Telegram, and also Messenger. And that he had also created a separate WhatsApp group to try and add on Bangladeshi nationals. Arunima joining us live with more details. Yes, Arunima.
So, you've already given our viewers some insight as to what the NIA's investigation has entailed. Just to take you back, in Fulwari Sharif, this case started unraveling. And at that point also, we had flagged off how NIA suspected and the intelligence agencies suspected that this was a larger conspiracy of radicalization, bringing in illegal migrants, giving them forged papers, and ultimately using them as sleeper cells for anti-India activities. So NIA's investigation also substantiated those initial leads. They found evidence to show that how, this entire web of people coming in from across our borders, across our neighborhood, and they then being used via various, online platforms like Telegram, like WhatsApp, like other social media handles, and a group of conspirators against India being created.
Well, Arunima, there was also trying to portray Danish as somebody who was mentally challenged and deranged. But has the NIA, countered that? And was this person actively involved in trying to develop these sleeper cells? This WhatsApp group, the NIA in its charge sheet says, was created actually by a Pakistani national.
Yes, in fact, there was initial defense given by his family, Danish's family. They also tried to procure medical certificates to show that he has undergone treatment. But NIA's investigation has actually unraveled how this was a huge conspiracy. They have unraveled how this conspiracy entailed creating radicalized youngsters through various social media platforms. There were Maulavis from southern part of India also who were brought in so that, local issues during private government, issues which were of interest to them, to enemies of India, were highlighted. That was also something that evidence has been gathered about.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for your input, Arunima. Quickly moving on to the other big development, and that's a case that we are very closely monitoring. It's the issue of what's happened on board the Air India flight on the 26th of November, the issue of a man urinating over a fellow passenger who's a senior citizen, 72-year-old lady, and despite her complaints, the Air India not taking any action. This person has growing chorus for his arrest. There is, the lawyer has now stepped up saying that this person under consideration is cooperating with the authorities, but he continues to remain evasive. Shankar Mishra continues to remain evasive. He's still not been arrested, even though the Delhi police has increased the ambit of their search towards Lucknow and now to Bangalore. CNN News 18 has accessed the FIR that's been filed against Air India also. The FIR copy says that the airline did not follow protocol to handle an unruly passenger. Meanwhile, sources telling CNN News 18 that the last location of this accused passenger is Bengaluru. Delhi police have summoned 6 to 8 of the flight crew members, including the pilots. CNN News 18 has accessed an exclusive WhatsApp conversation between the accused, Shankar Mishra, and also the person who was dealt with unjustly, the senior citizen, the lady, the fellow passenger. According to the chat details, Shankar Mishra has got the clothes and the bags cleaned on the 28th of November, and the same were delivered on the 30th of November. He's profusely apologized to this lady too. The message indicates the women had no intention, or the person, the fellow passenger had no intention of lodging a complaint. CNN News 18 has also tracked Shankar Mishra's alleged home and office. Vinaya Deshpande has got the details, even as the lawyer has come out and said that they are cooperating with the authorities.
I am here at BKC, where an international organization, the International Financial Firm, where Air India accused Shankar Mishra used to work, his company's office was situated here. Now, in fact, when we inquired, we realized that in the last 6 to 8 months, the company has moved offices twice. We went to the previous address where we were told that the company moved just a few months ago. When we came here, we were told that this office space was being occupied by Shankar Mishra's financial organization till the 31st of December, after which they have withdrawn from this space. Even as teams of Delhi police are trying to nab Shankar Mishra, trying to understand where he is, teams are already in Mumbai. Yesterday there was a failed search attempt at Mira Road as well, where allegedly a wrong address or a misleading address was being given. So at a time when the chorus to arrest Shankar Mishra has been growing, his phone being switched off, we tried to find out if he is in his office. The office, the International Financial Organization where he works, has just moved its space on 31st of December itself. So right now, everyone, including the teams of Delhi police, are trying to find out the whereabouts of Shankar Mishra. We are here at Kamgar Nagar in Kurla. We haven't yet seen any police team reach here, but this is allegedly the residence of S. Mishra. Let us try and walk you inside. Let us take you inside this complex. This is a kind of a bungalow here at Kurla Kamgar Nagar. As you can see, this four-wheeler which is here, we tried to knock on the door as well, tried to see if someone could come out and answer the doorbell. We try and do it again. There is nobody who responds. We waited for quite some time. In fact, neighbors confirmed that it is the Mishras who live here. Some of the neighbors who also saw the photo of Shankar Mishra corroborated and confirmed that he does stay here and he was seen moving in and out from here, but they do not specifically have any details about the last time they saw Shankar Mishra from here.
News is coming through. The company in which Shankar Mishra is a senior official, Wells Fargo, has now issued a statement where they have said that, and this is over their vice president Shankar Mishra, saying the company holds its employees in the highest standards and they are fully cooperating with the authorities. Harish Upadhyay joins us with more details. Yes, Harish.
Well, the company is saying that they're extending all possible cooperation to the authorities for investigating the matter. But significantly, something that we have to note here is the company is yet to commit or comment on whether the company would initiate any sort of a disciplinary action against this employee. Yes, this incident hasn't happened in their premises, but since they are saying that they hold their employees to highest standards, if there will be any action from the institution itself, that's something that they haven't mentioned in this release put out.
Right. Thank you for your inputs, Harish. But the claims by Shankar Mishra's lawyer is that this entire matter was settled with Shankar Mishra's profuse apology, and he also dry cleaned the clothes which he had soiled, and also the lady had confirmed that there will be no further action and she had no intention to pursue this matter further. But what happened on board the 26th, that flight on the 26th of November also points a lot of questions on the conduct of the crew and whether or not they safeguarded the interest of a passenger who was in distress. Did they refuse her an alternate seat? Did they force her to go back and sit in the same soiled seat? And did they offer an explanation that now it is all dry, go back to that particular seat? And is that the way an airline and its crew should treat a passenger, and that to a senior citizen? Anvit is with us. Anvit, so even as they're trying to trace the whereabouts of Shankar Mishra, the cops, the lawyer coming out and making certain claims that we are cooperating, the company says we are cooperating, but what about the crew on board? Is there going to be action taken against them?
Yes, certainly, and that is the direction which the Delhi police is currently moving in, because yesterday at least 4 crew members were called at the IGI police station in New Delhi, and today the 2 pilots were called. Now yesterday's crew that had come to the police station, their statements were recorded. They were the crew members on board who had actually dealt with the situation or during the flight when this man allegedly urinated on this woman, and they were the ones who handled the situation, and they dried the woman, as she has alleged, that they dried up her clothes and gave her a gown to wear and but the problem is what she has also raised in her FIR is that they did not provide her an extra seat, a different seat. Now pilots have been called for this reason because it was the pilots who had actually vetoed the decision of providing another seat to this woman. What we have learned from sources in police and in airline that particular flight, that particular aircraft, it had 4 extra seats, but all those 4 extra seats were dysfunctional, and as per the flight rules, pilots could not provide her with the seat. But this explanation would not stand because this is not just only one lapse and part of the airline. Even though this incident took place on the 26th of November, 27th of November, the woman says that her son-in-law had written a detailed complaint to Tata Group. That same complaint is what the cognizance of which the police have taken and filed an FIR. FIR is under stringent actions like 534, 534A, 510, 509 and under aircraft rule. If this was a criminal act in the police's eye, why did not the airline raise the matter with the police then and there when the flight had landed? The woman goes on to mention in a complaint that she had stressed upon the fact that she wants a police action and she wants this man to be charged. But despite that, she goes on to say in the FIR that the crew members and the on-ground staff made her sit with this man face to face and tried to negotiate. So the lawyers, even though now then they are coming out and saying that there was a compensation and matter had been settled, but it was going by the rules, it was the responsibility of the airline to apprise the police of this matter.
Yes, and was there a CISF report? Was the voice recording submitted? Was there an incident report that was submitted? Was it all put as record? And what was attempted? Why did the pilots and the crew try to settle the matter rather than complain and also allow the lady to pursue, the passenger to pursue their legal recourse? Why did they deny the basic rights of a passenger who has been misbehaved with? These are questions that remain, and for that action needs to be taken. And if a complaint letter was written by the aggrieved the very next day, why did the airline and its principals also not take any action and disciplinary action over more than a month and a half? That's also another question that arises. Thank you for your inputs, Anvit. Quickly shifting focus, ladies and gentlemen, to yet another major development. These are visuals that will shock you. These are visuals does not behove off the conduct of anybody, especially those who are elected representatives and in public office. This is the civic center, where there were supposed to be elections as decided by the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi, by the elected councillors within the municipality of Delhi, the MCD. And what happened was for nearly 2 hours, there was absolute chaos, mayhem, ruckus, standing up on the bench and sloganeering, banners, posters being called, pushing, shoving, and in some cases even almost getting to blows and picking up chairs and tables and throwing that all across. This is the kind of behavior that was on display, an absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace, with the BJP pointing fingers at the Aam Aadmi Party pointing fingers at the BJP. But what has been seen is thorough, absolute misconduct. As a result, the proceedings have had to be stopped and adjourned for the day. Now the LG will further go back and come back with a fresh date when the entire procedure of electing a new mayor, the council members, administering the oath of the elected councillors, all of that will then proceed. It is about whether or not procedure was being followed, whether or not the person who was conducting the entire administrator on the chair, that is Satya Sharma ji, was following due procedure or not. The BJP says it is AAP that disrupted the entire proceedings and they deliberately tried to derail the proceedings. Aam Aadmi Party meanwhile says that the known procedures or the set norms were not followed and that there was an attempt to try and perhaps somewhere work out, engineer the election of the mayor and the selection of the council members, etc. Let's listen into the reactions coming in from both sides.
बहुत ही शर्मनाक घटना घटी और ये घटना उन लोगों द्वारा घटित की गई कि ये वो लोग हैं जो सत्ता में अपने आप को अराजक कह कर आए हैं. There was a conspiracy that the Aam Aadmi Party is not going to allow the smooth functioning of the house, and thus they called the ruckus and misbehave with many people. All I can say is that we are completely within the purview of law because the act itself is a central enactment. It's not a state law.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने संविधान की धज्जियां उड़ाने में कोई कसर नहीं छोड़ी. भारतीय जनता पार्टी ये कोशिश कर रही थी कि सबसे पहले नॉमिनेटेड काउंसलर्स को शपथ दिलवा के हर कानून और हर संविधान के विरोध में जाकर इन नॉमिनेटेड काउंसलर्स से मेयर, डिप्टी मेयर और स्टैंडिंग कमेटी के चुनाव में वोट डलवाएंगे।
Have to take a very short break, but a quick update on the Delhi hit and drag case. The sixth accused, Ashutosh Bharadwaj, the court has granted the cops 3 days custody of the sixth accused who was nabbed earlier in the day. Stay with us. More follows.
Reading all that, I mean, after going through all that, but now they are creating ruckus because, and then if they are saying that these 10 people are effectively voting, they are spreading lie. I mean, it's a totally untruth. Fact is that these 10 people have no role to play in the mayoral election.
No, Mr. Singh, the point that is being made by Arvind Kejriwal is, and I'm quoting exactly what he's gone on to say, he said that traditionally all files pertaining to nominations under Section 3BI are routed through the Urban Development Department, which is the nodal department as far as the municipal corporation is concerned. But this time around by the LG, this practice was not followed.
This is the old law when there were three municipal corporations. As per the new law, LG is authorized to appoint 10 people as aldermen. But again, how do those 10 people affect the mayor election? I mean, they don't have a voting right. If they don't have the voting right, then why are they creating this ruckus in the mayor election?
There are scenes of pandemonium. There is absolute ruckus that is playing out in the Delhi Civic Centre. This, of course, is ahead of the elections of the mayor after the MCD elections happened last month here in the national capital. There is ruckus in the Delhi Municipal Corporation House. Just look at the visuals that we're getting to you. We'll try and establish a connection with my colleague Ruckus also to try and understand what really is happening. But as I said, scenes of pandemonium, it's the BJP versus the Aam Aadmi Party. We already know that the Congress has taken a stand of not participating as far as the mayor election is concerned. But I can see marshals that have been brought in. Some short while ago, I did see certain people being dragged as well. There is massive sloganeering that has taken place as well ahead of the Delhi mayor election. Some reactions coming in now. We'll try and go to that reaction. I believe we were getting a reaction from Manoj Tiwari of the BJP. But as I said, the fight between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP only intensifying as there is hangama inside the civic centre.
दिल्ली के वोटर हैं मेयर के चुनाव में और हम अपना मतदान का अधिकार प्रयोग करने आए हैं। हम सभी हंसराज हंस जी, प्रवेश जी, गौतम जी, रमेश जी, ऊपर हर्षवर्धन जी भी हैं, मीनाक्षी जी भी हैं और हम सब अपने मतदान का प्रयोग करके एक लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था को बनाए रखने में मदद करेंगे।
Let me now bring in my colleague Rupashri Nanda also, who in fact has been tracking all these developments for us. Rupashri, talk to us about the scenes of pandemonium and the ruckus that we're seeing in the Delhi Civic Centre. What's happening?
The same scenes are continuing as of now. Satya Sharma, who was administering oath to the nominated member of the Delhi MCD, Delhi chief, is not there in the floor of the house now. All the Aam Aadmi Party are up in arms and they have actually gathered around Mukesh Goel, the leader of the house, and they are chanting slogans against the BJP, against the Lieutenant Governor and against the Prime Minister. The BJP also is, members are also up on their feet. If the visuals are clear, if you can see the visuals, some of the members, in fact, women members are actually standing on the tables on their side and they're trying to, reply to the Aam Aadmi Party, but more or less the BJP members are still quite calm and they're not joining in full force against the sloganeering. Perhaps they're waiting for the acting speaker to come and take a decision. Remember, Aam Aadmi Party, the BJP's MPs are also here on the floor of the house because they also have voting rights over here. And Aam Aadmi Party's 13 MLAs are also here on the floor of the house, apart from newly elected councillors. I have not been able to see Aam Aadmi Party's MPs in the floor of the house yet. But essentially the house has been adjourned and everybody is waiting for Satya Sharma to take a decision. It remains to be seen whether the proceedings can continue. If the ruckus continues in this manner.
Right, Rupashi, I'll just request you stay on with us. Let's just dip in and listen into what's happening.
हंगामा सदन के भीतर जारी है.
So as we said, Ruckus still continues. My colleague Rupashi continues to be with us. Rupashi, let's really understand what's happening. You on one side. Okay, Rupashi, I'll just request you to stay on with us. I just want to take in a quick reaction from the BJP. RP Singh also now joining us on the broadcast. So good to have you on the broadcast with us. The Aam Aadmi Party is accusing the LG of skewing civil body ahead of the mayor election. How do you see the comments that are coming in from the Aam Aadmi Party and the ruckus that is following as well?
Well, they have a clear majority of 134 people. Then why are they scared of? Is it that they're not sure about their own members? That's why they're creating the circus before the election. I mean, even now the oath taking has not happened. Let the oath taking happen and then you do whatever you do. But they are trying to create the circus for intention because they are not very sure about their own members. And then they know that probably some of them will slip. And then they are not happy with the overall procedure which has been adopted for the mayor position and the deputy mayor position and the standing committee position. That's why all the circus is there. Otherwise, a party which claims to have a clear majority of 134 members, why shall they create a ruckus?
I want to understand, as far as the confidence of the Aam Aadmi Party is concerned, we've heard from Atishi and others that at the end of the day, there is going to be a mayor from the Aam Aadmi Party and a deputy mayor as well. For the BJP, is the BJP banking on cross-voting?
No, we are not pitching for any cross-voting at all. It's up to if people are not happy and satisfied with their own party decision or the party leaders. It's up to them to do whatever they want to do. I mean, they want to cross-vote, they want to duck the voting. I mean, it's up to them. But fact is that this whole ruckus is because the Aam Aadmi Party is not confident about their own members. Otherwise,
Back on the Nation at 5 with the latest coming through, and this is big news on the Air India matter of unruly passengers. The DGCA now has issued a fresh advisory. Now we're given to understand that the DGCA has now issued a fresh advisory to the head of operations of all scheduled airlines with regard to handling unruly passengers on board and respective responsibilities as per the regulations. So once again, it's a red alert to the airline saying that you have to follow the protocols. Advisory has been issued that there should be no compromising on action against unruly passengers and the rights of those passengers who believe that they have been aggrieved. What are your rights as a passenger is something that we are also putting out here at on the News 18 network. But more importantly, if there is a passenger who's aggrieved, if there is a passenger who's unruly, what is supposed to be the conduct of the crew? How are they supposed to manage that situation? The commander of the aircraft, that's the pilot, the senior pilot, what are the decisions they are supposed to take, protocols they're supposed to follow? These are the aspects which are important. We'll try and go across to Siddhant Mishra for more details. Yes, Siddhant.
Well, yes, this is perhaps maybe for the first time, and this is after the recent incident that happened in Air India flight, that DGCA has come out with an advisory, a very fresh advisory for the head of operations of all scheduled airlines. This is with regard to handling.
Well, so clearly, so the DGCA now issuing fresh instructions and an advisory that there has to be a protocol followed, and all scheduled airlines have been now sent across an advisory, the head of operations of all airlines, with regard to handling unruly passengers on board and respective responsibilities based on the regulations. So there are set norms. You have to follow all those protocols. You cannot skip any protocols. And if there is an incident that has happened, there must be an incident report filed. Whether or not the matter has been managed Whether or not the two parties have come to a settlement is immaterial, but you must file an incident report. The other aspect is, will the DGCA pull up airlines? Because in this case, on the 27th of November, the family of the aggrieved have written a detailed letter to Air India and to Tatas, asking them to take action against this unruly passenger. But that has not happened. The crew on board and also the staff, they tried to pacify and to try and broker peace. Was it their job to do that? Or should they have filed an incident report and also complained to the CISF upon touchdown? These are questions that remain. Anvit is joining us with more details. Yes, Anvit.
See, Anand, as per the DGCA's rules, it is clearly mentioned that the role of the responsibilities of the pilots. It clearly mentions that pilot in command is responsible for safety of passengers and cargo carried and for the maintenance of flight discipline and safety of the members of the crew, in addition to being responsible for the operation and safety of the aircraft during flight, which we here in this case can easily assume that was not done and had completely failed. The pilots had completely failed in this particular case, because the woman goes on to mention and allege against the pilot that they failed to provide her another seat, which has led to some kind of mental trauma, and then she also goes on to mention that pilot vetoed against providing her with an extra seat. Now, if we go ahead in this advisory, it further mentions that the responsibility of cabin crew, it has said that applying restraint devices should be used when all conciliary approaches have been exhausted. It further details the procedure of handling of unruly passengers. It says that it has that a respective airline safety and emergency procedure manual is there, according to which the guidelines need to be followed. But woman has gone on to mention that it was the airline staff
So what action will be taken by the airlines on the airline staff? What action will be taken by DGCA with the airline itself? Because a complaint has been filed on the 27th of November, no action taken remains. These aspects remain. Thanks, Anvit. We've got very limited time, ladies and gentlemen, because of hectic pace of news coming through and flowing in terms of continuous updates and breaking news. But we want to go across to Nitin Semwal and Joshimath to try and understand what's the situation on ground. Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami is also going to visit the place. Nitin, क्या परिस्थिति है ग्राउंड पर?
जी, अगर बात करें जोशीमठ की अभी स्थिति की अगर बात करें तो आप सीधी तस्वीरें देख सकते हैं। यहाँ पे प्रशासन किस तरीके से लोगों को मदद पहुंचा रहा है। रात का समय है, क्योंकि पहाड़ों में बहुत जल्दी रात हो जाती है, कड़ाके की ठंड पड़ रही है, लेकिन प्रशासन लगातार यहाँ पे बना हुआ है। और अभी देहरादून में एक हाई लेवल की मीटिंग हो रही है, जिसमें मुख्यमंत्री स्वयं अधिकारियों से फीडबैक ले रहे हैं और लगातार जो सिचुएशन यहाँ पे जोशीमठ में उसको लगातार मॉनिटरिंग किया जा रहा है। आप तस्वीरों में देख सकते हैं किस तरीके से प्रशासन की जो टीम है वो यहाँ पे इस समय पहुंची हुई है, और जो राहत और बचाव का जो कार्य यहाँ पे चल रहा है वहां तक हर एक परिवार तक पहुंचने की कोशिश की जा रही है। और सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि ये पैकेज जो यहाँ पे बनाए गए हैं, हम सीधे तहसील विभाग के कर्मचारी हैं, उन्हीं से बात करेंगे। सर, इन पैकेटों में क्या है और क्या व्यवस्थाएं की जा रही है?
जी, पर वहां पर क्या अभी भी जमीन दरक रही है, पानी लीक हो रहा है? हाँ,
5 किलो चावल है, 1 किलो तेल है, मिर्च है, मसाला है, नमक है, माचिस है। हाँ, ये प्रोवाइड लोगों को दिया जा रहा है। कि जो लोग विस्थापित हुए हैं, अभी हमने जो शेल्टरों में रखे हुए हैं या नगर पालिका जहाँ भी राजकीय भवनों में, उन लोगों को ये मतलब किट बांटे जा रहे हैं।
जी, निश्चित रूप से अगर बात करें तो मकान दरकने की अगर बात की जाए तो मकान बिल्कुल दरक रहे हैं, उनमें दरारें लगातार पड़ रही है, क्रैक पड़ रहे हैं। और ये जो यहाँ पे राहत और बचाव का जो सिलसिला ये लगातार जारी है। आप देख सकते हैं कि यहाँ पे किस तरीके से लोगों को लिए रहने के लिए व्यवस्थाएं की गई हैं, सरकार की ओर से भी, प्रशासन की ओर से भी। कोई भी दिक्कत, इसका बिल्कुल ध्यान रखा जा रहा है। जी
नितिन, धन्यवाद आपके अपडेट के लिए। वे ओवर टाइम हियर ऑन द नेशन एट 5. Zakar ready with Viewpoint with a big development, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us.
It's been more than 40 days since the accused peeing pervert on the Air India flight from New York has still not been tracked down. The Delhi police have managed to procure a lookout notice. Their teams are both in Mumbai and Bengaluru. but it seems like there is no trace of this man Shankar Mishra. But first, we have some breaking news. The accused person, the peeing pervert on board Air India New York Delhi flight on the 26th of November, Shankar Mishra, has now been fired by his company Wells Fargo, which is a multinational bank. Shankar Mishra was a senior vice president in that company. In fact, Wells Fargo had shut down its Mumbai operations at the end of last year. And now we have word that Shankar Mishra, the accused in this absolutely despicable episode that happened on the Air India flight New York Delhi on the 26th of November, he has now been terminated by his company Wells Fargo. They had also put out a statement a short while back saying that they're cooperating with the investigating authorities, with the police, but now his company has fired him. So let me go across and try and get a word on this from Harish, my colleague who's joining us. So Harish, this is confirmed by Wells Fargo, one of the biggest banks in the world, that they have let go of Shankar Mishra because of this episode?
Well, that seems to be the case. The initial release that came in did indicate that the company holds its employees for highest standards of personal behavior and professional behavior as well. Although this incident might not have happened in their premises, but looking at the magnitude of the issue here and the kind of attention it's grabbed, perhaps the company thought it's best to sack this employee.
All right, Harish, we'll leave it at that. Harish there joining us with the details of this big development. The man in question, the accused in question, has now been terminated by his employer, Wells Fargo. But let's bring you up to speed with what's going on in this story. Remember, this happened on the 26th of November. Now, his lawyers have put out what they're claiming to be WhatsApp chat details between Shankar Mishra and the victim in question. The lawyers are claiming, as per the WhatsApp chats, the lady actually condoned the alleged act a couple of days after it happened. The lady showed no intentions of filing a complaint. That's what the lawyers are claiming. A settlement was reached between Shankar Mishra and the victim in question, the elderly 72-year-old lady. The accused, that is Shankar Mishra, got her bags and her clothes dry cleaned and returned on the 28th of November. Subsequently, the accused also paid the lady in question, the victim, some form of compensation on Paytm. What happened thereafter, almost a month later, on the 19th of December, the victim's daughter, who stays in Bengaluru, in fact, she was coming down to be with her daughter and her son-in-law, the daughter returns that money back to Shankar Mishra, back on that financial instrument. We don't know what the amount was. This is what the lawyers are claiming. Her grievance, the lady, the victim's grievance, was not so much with Shankar Mishra, but was with the compensation that was paid to her by the airlines. And when that did not get redressed, that's when she decided to make this public and go to the police with a complaint that was filed on the 20th of December. Let me now go across to our guests who are joining us. Nidhi Chapekar is a former flight attendant with Jet Airways. Captain Amit Singh is an aviation expert. Parvez Damania, former director, Kingfisher Airlines. O.P. Singh is former DG of the CISF. Parvez Damania, let me start with you, because the question that comes to mind, the most important question is, okay, if there was some kind of settlement between the accused and the victim, we'll get into that. But surely the responsibility here is that of the airline, more than that of the accused. It's not the business of the accused and the victim to come to some kind of a compromise. If there is a criminal act, an illegal act that has happened on board an airline, it is fully and squarely the responsibility of the airline.
Well, I think what is wrong is the airline didn't follow the protocol that was laid down. The airline, whether there was a settlement or not, that is not the airline's business. The airline should have, the air hostess, they should have separated this guy, put him away so that he could harm nobody. Air hostess should have informed the pilot should have informed the ATC, ATC would have informed the police or the BCAS, and they should have been arrested and prosecuted according to the rule of the law. The very fact that today he's not available or absconding because he was not arrested when the plane landed. See, whether a criminal act has occurred on an aircraft,
yes,
it could endanger the lives of other people, which is a very serious offense. So the airline should have just followed the protocol. What happened between the lady and the gentleman has nothing to do with the airline. And again, another thing we have to remember, that if this man exposed himself, any of the passenger, any of the women passengers, including the air hostess, can file a criminal complaint.
Correct.
So where is the question of condoning? And if you remember right, in a complaint, it is very, very clear that the crew was not really helpful. They did not support her. They let her change, gave her a change of clothes and asked her to do the same soil seat, which is not on.
Exactly.
The commander is the final authority on the flight. He has the power to upgrade anybody he desires. The least they could have done is put the 72-year-old lady in first class where the seats were empty. But that
Correct.
also they didn't do. I don't understand how this poor lady, 72-year-old, could have sat in a jump seat which is absolutely erect and only used for takeoff and landing for the crew and
Exactly.
passed the time. So I think this man is, of course, completely responsible for his mad behavior. And
he should be made accountable for it. If something, like I said, if
terminated him.
something illegal, something criminal has happened, then that person should face the law for it. Nidhi Chapekar, you know, irrespective of whether, irrespective of whether there is a compromise between the victim and the accused person in this case, we'll come to that in 1 second. I want to know, as a former flight attendant, ma'am, what would you have done if an elderly lady came to you and complained that, look, a fellow passenger has just urinated on me, I need help, you need to help sort this out for me? What would you have done? What should the crew have done?
First of all, you actually, take the lady away, make her,